Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Here we are at the launch pad with our Kerbollo 11 spacecraft. I changed a few things in between last episode and this one. I put some winglets on, I added one more set of fuel tanks to this intermediate stage in the middle here, and some more struts. Hopefully that doesn't overweight us and we can take off. I've also spent like an hour trying to figure out the launch sequence because every time I made a change it would reshuffle things automatically, the game. Hopefully that's something they're working on, as this is still version 0.14, and we're doing this all with stock parts. And what are we doing, you ask? We are going for the moon! And we are going to land and return safely from the moon, our three brave astronauts, the Kerman brothers, Bill, Jebediah, and Bob, and we're going to do that right now. So, I suppose, with any launch, we need a countdown. Let me just make sure everything's set up right still. Okay, technically 10 stages is what I've got going on here. A little bit complicated. I'm holding it at 2/3 throttle, and we're going to light these puppies in about 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, full throttle, slowly taking off. Almost forgot to turn on the guidance. That would have been terrible. Alright, we've cleared the launch pad and the launch tower. I'm glad we're still taking off, despite me adding some extra weight to this spacecraft. You never want to run out of fuel, though. That would be terrible. So here we are, headed for the moon. Nice onboard camera kind of shot right here. It's kind of cool. There's our landing legs. We're going to touch down on the surface of the moon. Right now, we just have to get out of the atmosphere of Kerbin. I think this was the sun setting or something? I think the sun might be setting. But yeah, here we go. Onward and upward. We're still climbing, a little bit slowly. I'm a little bit concerned by those overheat warnings, but I've never actually had a problem with that. I'm just going to throttle back slightly, maybe that will mitigate that. Yep, at about 99% or something right there of throttle. Experiencing less than 2 Gs there. It's comfortable for our astronauts. Jebediah is always comfortable. Bill and Bob are always crapping their pants. Yes. Here we go once again. A nice wide shot there. Heading for the moon. And I know I've seen the videos, and I know there's ways where you can just overpower your way just straight to the moon and land smack dab right on it. I'm you know how I play these games, for those of you who've been watching. I like to kind of RP them. I try to go for realism, so the method I'm taking is get into Kerbin orbit, situate myself for trans-mooner orbit, and then fire my rockets on the way to the moon, and then I'm going to get into mooner orbit, and then from there is where I will land, and then finally take off again, and then hopefully make it back to the planet here safely. So yeah, I like to do things quote-unquote legitimately. Alright, here we go. These are the last fuel tanks. 9 engines running at a time. Getting through another thick part of the atmosphere, I guess is what those cotton balls are symbolizing. How are we doing on this? I should get my views set up just so I know what I'm doing. Very nice. Alright. Going to slowly throttle down because I don't want my stages to get stuck together, the problem I had before. We're still climbing at quite the rate. That's fine. Throttle down some more. Alright. And 3, 2, 1, second stage. Fire that second stage. Throttle up. Very nice separation. There we have an example of the spacecraft Persistence with the debris. And we are heading towards the stars. Well, towards the moon, really. Oh, you can really see the gimbaling of those engines. That's the SAS working there for us to keep us straight up and down. Let us take a look at what we're doing here. Oh, that's cool. That is another example of the spacecraft Persistence. We can see the first 3 stages, or the first stage, really, I guess is 3 different debris, is going to safely land back into the ocean. Not that we care too much about that. How's our altitude looking? Not bad. Yeah, okay. Just gotta keep up with this upward force. As we get out of this thicker part of the atmosphere, we should see this needle and this, oh, we're actually slowing down. That ain't good. Perhaps I should have put the more powerful rockets here, but we will see how this turns out. Yeah, that slowing down part is not cool. As long as we stay behind the apoapsis. And it's still rising, although rather slowly. This is a little bit concerning. Little bit concerning, guys. Maybe should have tested this out first. No. Okay. We're equalizing. Slowly. We've got plenty of fuel. I'm glad I put those extra fuel tanks there. Alright, now we're speeding back up. Since we're getting out of the thick part of the atmosphere. And that's starting to rise at a more alarming rate. Okay. Bob, you're correct to be of a little worry there, but we think we've turned a corner here and we're starting to speed up once again. Oh boy. That's probably a waste of fuel, obviously. I think I would have done better for myself if I put the larger nozzled rockets on the end of these. Of course, then I would be burning fuel much quicker too, but at least we wouldn't have slowed down there. Alright, let's take a look once again, as long as this number keeps rising. Perhaps not the most efficient of launches, but hopefully this gets us, first of all, into Kerbin orbit. And once we're in Kerbin orbit, the rest, granted we have enough fuel, should be a piece of cake. Well, except for the landing. That's something I've never done. 60 kilometers. Perhaps I should consider starting to tilt to my side, as we have 3 fuel tanks left here. So I'm going to, with the throttle still up, this is dangerous, turn off the SAS. Slowly tilt. I gotta stay exactly on this 90-degree mark. Don't drift like you're drifting. Stop it, stop it. Okay, hold right there. Very good. And that should help us start to get more of an orbital speed, which is what we need to get into an orbit, naturally. Alright, I should start to tilt over even more, I believe. Nice and easy, nice and easy. Up a little bit, down, and hold right there, please. Good job. Everything's quite stable. I'm very proud of that. I was a little bit worried about this connection, so I've added these struts to the outside of these engines. I hope those disconnect in the proper order. That would be a disaster. But okay, we're about to run out of fuel here. Let's lose those guys and get the heck away from them. Very nice. Okay. Oh, okay. Yep. See, we're starting to get a little bit of wobble here. How are we doing for altitude? That's pretty good. I believe what I'm going to do is actually... Okay, we've gotten away from our debris. Let me get much more of a horizontal... Perhaps I should turn on the RCS to do this a little bit quicker. No. Let's see, right about there. Hold it. SAS on. Stabilize, RCS off, throttle up. That's going to come down in the ocean. And that is where we would have gone if this engine didn't burn. Alright, so let's keep our fingers crossed so that this turns into an orbit. Yeah, that wasn't planned as well as I had hoped. Because I was hoping just to use this stage for my lunar entry burn, and then hopefully maybe use it a little bit to slow myself down for my landing, but I guess I'm going to have to depend on this stage. That's scary. Yeah. This could be problematic. I don't know if this engine is enough to get us into orbit. Not cool. Yeah, not cool, guys. Crap. Okay, let me... Alright. Desperate measures here. Okay, I just want to stay right there. Alright, yeah, we're starting to lose altitude here. Crap. Well, crap, guys. Oh, man. Oh, this is tough. I've got to go back into my earlier save file to see how I did this with the Farlander 9. Because this design is not doing it. Obviously, I have a lot more weight up top here than I did before. Oh, turn off the RCS. Save that fuel. Yeah, I'm on a downward slope here. Crap. I don't know if just replacing those 3 engines with the higher output engines would help. Dang it, I was fully anticipating getting to the moon and back today. Where is it? Where is that bastard moon? Alright, I can't... Oh, there it is. Oh, that's something else. You can actually move the camera around by holding down the middle mouse button. That was something I kind of complained about the last time, is the camera angles were a little bit... Yeah, we're losing altitude. Not only are we losing altitude, but our apoapsis is losing altitude. Dang it! Alright. Maybe they adjusted some things also with the physics, did they? I gotta look that up at the changelog. Because this is not working as anticipated. Crap. Oh, nuts. Well, maybe I'll be able to get into orbit, and then we can see what we can do, but... No, I don't think I'm going to get into orbit. This is my last fuel tank. And I'm rapidly losing altitude. Alright, back to the drawing board, guys. Let's finish out this mission without killing our guys, hopefully. Oh, there goes that. I guess we can just do a test to see that our staging works. Yep. I'm assuming that middle... Yep, okay, yeah, this was our lander. This is not our orbital stage. These rockets, I believe, are far too underpowered, although 3 of them together, I guess, wouldn't be too bad. I might start to run into problems of the atmosphere in a few kilometers here. I perhaps might have to start relying on solid rocket boosters. You know, I like to try to do this Apollo style, like a Saturn V, all liquid fuel, but that might not be the thing to do right now. And I would like to do this with the stock parts. Yeah, I'm going to start to run into atmosphere here. Whoa. But I am going to get into some sort of... What is going on with the sound? You hearing that? I'm hearing like the engine. That's weird. Might be a bug. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think the periapsis is going to be too low, and I'm going to probably re-enter. These are very efficient rockets. Look at how much fuel I've used only in that long amount of time. Oh, shit. I should be careful of what I'm doing here. I'm gonna get into a strange oblong orbit. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I think... Yeah, I'm obviously getting some atmospheric drag here because my engines are off, but this number is dropping, which means I'm slowing down. They haven't added the heat re-entry yet, so we don't have to worry about burning up into the atmosphere. Yeah, perhaps I should just slow down and try to land over this giant landmass. I don't think that's going to work out too well. Oh, crumbs. Alright, yeah, I'm going to wait till I get past the periapsis, and then maybe I'll get by it without re-entering, but yeah, and then maybe we can try to land back on the launch pad. Where did we launch from? What happened? Yeah, there it is. Oh, balls, guys. I was really looking forward to this. Sorry. Space flights. It's wacky. Let's turn on the RCS so I can do this quicker. Bill and Bob are clearly upset about their lost bid to be the first to land on the moon. Oh, out of control, out of control, out of control. There we go. And hold. Alright, we've passed the periapsis. So yeah, it looks like we are gaining altitude again. So this technically would be an orbit, although it wouldn't last very long. What I'm going to do is fire the engines so that I'm not getting thrown out, you know, 3.5, or what is that? Oh, that's meters, okay. 300 kilometers out into space. Let's bring this back down, and I think I'm low enough where I'm just going to start to re-enter regardless. So perhaps I can control that re-entry. Yeah, because this isn't lowering as well. I'll try to aim for that lake. No, that's never going to happen. I should probably just try to come down pretty fast here. Land right there, maybe. I can land on the land. I can land on the land. I can, the capsule is safe to land on the ground, but I would prefer a water landing. I don't know, perhaps I can actually land with my lander. I got enough fuel left, jeez. I don't think I would be able to stop this lateral movement fast enough, to be honest. Something's happening weird. I'm wobbling all around. What is up with the sound? You guys are hearing that. It's like the spacecraft is traveling in circles around my head. At least that's what it sounds like in my headphones. Okay, I know what's going on. Perhaps I should put the advanced SAS up on this, because right now it's just using the gyroscopes within the standard SAS, as you can see there, to keep me stable. But if I had an advanced SAS, it would be using the RCS thrusters, which are currently not being used, because they don't... The standard SAS doesn't use RCS thrusters or other modes of stabilization. Alright, about to run out of fuel, so my dreams of landing back on Kerbin in the actual lander have been dashed. Well, that whole thing worked out just dandy. Woo! I'm going to come to a hover. That's going to be pretty awesome. I should probably actually cut that off, gain some speed. Let me do this so that the stage kind of separates from me. Okay. Deploy the parachute. Okay. Well, oh, we're going to land by a peninsula here. easy pickup for whatever nation this is. Don't mind us, we just failed to get to the moon. But yeah, I guess in Kerbal Space Program, failure is always an option. So that didn't work out too well, unfortunately, guys. Damn you, Moon. You've thwarted my efforts once again. I've got to go back to the drawing board, got to think about a new rocket design, but yeah, that's disappointing. Maybe not a new rocket design, maybe just modifications. Perhaps I should take a look at the changelog to see if they did edit anything about the realism of the physics engine or anything like that. Perhaps I gotta relearn how to get into orbit all over again. Okay, that splashdown. That really sucks. I had a whole night planned where I'm going to be hanging out, getting to the moon and everything, and it didn't work. But I will still upload this video. Just as important as it is to show all the success of any video game I have, I'd like to show the failures. Plus, all this footage I just recorded, I don't want to go to waste. Okay, well, we'll have to rethink this, guys. I certainly thank you for watching and bearing with my ineptitude. And look forward to next time, where I'll be back with a renewed vigor and enthusiasm for reaching Moon in Kerbal Space Program. Let's wait for splashdown. Kaboosh. Alright, so our astronauts didn't die. At least we didn't kill the astronauts. That's a success in any book. A successful failure. So, thanks again for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.